Good evening. This is Adrenaline Radio. You're listening to Adrenaline Motorsports on 1680 AM on your dial. I'm Fred Blanchard, your host. And this evening we're going to kind of review Labor Day weekend events. One was the Big Go back in Indianapolis, Indiana, which was the NHRA U.S. Nationals, an event that's been going on for well over 50 years. And I've got to tell you that it was quite an event, and the cream always rises to the top. You have some of the major players that are running for the points now for the championship, and the championship has begun. And for Top Fuel this weekend, again, the winner in Top Fuel was Larry Dixon Jr. over Corey Mack in the Top Fuel event. And both the race was so close it was just hard to tell who won. And again, Dixon is just phenomenal this year. He's won a substantial amount of events. And also in the funny car ranks, for the second year in a row at the U.S. Nationals, you had Ashley Force winning again, and she was racing none other than her own dad, John Force, which was quite an event. And he had a cable fail on his injector, and basically had a major failure there, and she won the event for the second year in a row. And in Pro Stock, you had Greg Stanfield over Mike Edwards, which again shows you how tight that field is. It's really a tough deal. And what's ironic about these particular classes, the way the cars are balanced, is when I say balanced, I'm referring to how the car is laid out. If you weigh them, they're actually balanced out. If you have 5 pounds over here or 4 pounds less over there, it has an awful lot to do with how the car leaves the line and how quickly it leaves. And these cars are not just standard cars. They're very critical in their setup, and you'll find that with Pro Stocks, which are the most critical. And it's just unbelievable the work and effort that goes into these cars. And of course, in the fuel ranks, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you have a select group of chassis builders that have to lay the cars out properly, and if you add a roll bar or an extra tube here or there, it's again how the car leaves and how quickly you can get to the other end. And it's the setup of the car. One of the other things I wanted to touch on is that when the event takes place, there's a group of folks that go back and ahead of time, and they visit a lot of the shops. And the gentleman that I work for, Nick Arias Jr., had that opportunity to visit some of our customers and check out a few of the shops that are building different projects. And he got to meet with one of our former employees, Roger McMartin, and a good friend of his, Steve Sanchez, who is the manufacturer of custom cylinder heads for the hardcore market. And they hung out all weekend there at the event and different places prior to the event. And Mr. Arias had a chance to get around to Freedom Racing Engines, which is somewhat of a new entity that's really been doing a good job in supporting Arias Industries and building various engine projects. And I must tell you that Al Robbins there at Freedom Racing Engines had the opportunity to take Nick Arias around, and he ran into one of our customers, a Dick Carone, who has actually started his own shop and in building custom cars. And in that particular shop was a particular vehicle, which was a Chevy 2. It was immaculate. It had, again, one of the Arias engines in it, which is the Hemi Chevy. And he got to see that in a Corvette project, which was this spectacular vehicle. So when you travel back there, you get to go around and see a lot of the different shops. And outside Indianapolis, there's a little town called Brownsburg, and that's where all these engine building facilities and custom car facilities are located. You can go around and you'll see the John Force facility there. In fact, he had an open house, from my understanding, and just throngs of people attending and just wanting to see what was going on there. But not only drag racing, you find the circle track people there. You can see Tony Stewart's facility there, and he's got a huge building that also houses not only his stock car or NASCAR application. You see the midgets and also the winged sprints, along with the standard sprints, and he has a whole array of different fellows driving for him in these different because basically circle track is pretty big back in the Midwest, and there you can go to a lot of events in a short area and in a short distance and having to drive, and you'll find a lot of neat things back there. But
hey, Fred.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, are those the same? Is that the same kind of tracks that they like over here at Irwindale?
Same kind of track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a circle track application, and you have wing cars, and you have the midgets, open wheel cars, of course, and then you have the semi-stock bodied cars that also run. They're not NASCARs, but they're stock cars, they call them, but they have regular automotive engines in them, and it's a big deal back in the Midwest. And
are all the tracks the same size,
No.
or depending on the size of car, the track fluctuates with that?
Well, the midgets usually run a quarter and a half mile, and then the sprint cars run half mile and sometimes mile tracks, and most of them are dirt tracks, but they're also pavement tracks too. And so it's quite a show to see, and they'll have 25 lappers to qualify, and then they'll have 100 lappers for the main and semi events, semi-main and the main event. And that's really the hub of circle track racing back there at Indianapolis. It's really the hub, but they go to Terre Haute and various other places in the area there.
Yeah, I actually had the opportunity to go to Indianapolis a couple times, and when they land the plane, you see that racetrack.
Oh, it's massive, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, the racetrack there for Indy cars is another event, which is again the rear engine cars, and they're European style cars, but basically they're now running NASCAR on that track as well. They have a 400-mile event for NASCAR, and then they have I think a sports car track, and I don't know what the event is called and who is the sanctioning body for that, but they lease that track out for 3 of the major events of that kind. But the speedway itself is 2.5 miles, and that is a major event in itself. And I had the opportunity in 1982 to go visit and attend that event and spend a week prior to the event, and got to visit the museum, which you cannot miss. If you're going to go to Indianapolis and you get a chance, go to the Speedway Museum. That's a piece of work that, I mean, you talk about automotive engineering from the early 1900s all the way to current day. It's really something to see.
Okay, now you're making me feel bad because I didn't go to the museum.
Well, there's another part of it that you probably missed too, because they will give you a ride around the track. They have means. In fact, fortunate enough for me, I didn't get to get in one of the cars, of course, but they offer a tram ride, which is actually a bus, really, and he gets it up to a fairly decent speed, but he drives you around the 2.5-mile oval, which was really an experience, because if you're driving a van at 70, 80 miles an hour, and can you imagine those guys going over 200 miles an hour coming into the first turn? That in itself would be quite an experience.
Yeah, just the inertia, just when you make that. They're all making left-hand turns on the track, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So you're being thrown to the right
constantly
as you're turning left.
That's it.
That's pretty wild.
That's pretty much what the deal's all about.